Subject English text. Story King Bruce and the Spider. Today I am going to explain you this story. So first you will see the characters of the story. So in this story there are two characters only. First one is King Bruce and his army. Now in this story you will see how King Bruce hard work did to got his kingdom back. So let's begin. So first I will explain you the story. So this is the story about a king whose name was Robert Bruce. He was brave and a wise king. He was the king of Scotland. The king of England wanted a Scotland to be a part of England. So he sent his army to take out the king out of Scotland. But he refused to go and gathered his army and decided to fight with King Bruce. King Bruce's army was small as compared to the English army, but then also he fought with the English army 6 times. They fought and 6 times King Bruce lost. After the last battle, King Bruce's army lost all hope. The soldiers run away, so King Bruce forcefully hid himself in a forest with no army and little courage. So he did not know what to do. One day he was wandering in the forest. Suddenly it started raining. He went in an empty cave. He was tired, so he lay down on the cold ground and thinking about giving up. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a spider on the roof of the cave. It was trying to put thread on one edge to the another of the cave, but it kept failing. The king was watching the spider with great interest, but every time the thread fell and it was trying again. 6 times it tried, but 6 times it failed. Looking at it, the king said, You also know what it is to fail 6 times. But the spider did not give up. It was ready for the seventh time. Watching its courage and determination, King Bruce forgot his own troubles and worries. Now he got the new hope and strength. He watched the spider swing into action again. It safely carried the thread to the other edge and fastened it there. King Bruce shouted that he will also try for the seventh time. Soon he came out of the cave and gathered his men and told them about his plans to convince them fight another battle. After some days he had a brave army around him. A seventh battle was fought. This time King Bruce won the battle and England's king went back to his kingdom. So Scotland became an independent country. King Bruce till today is remembered as one of the greatest kings in Scottish history. Now I will narrate you the story. After narration of the story, I will ask you questions. So listen carefully. Once upon a time, when Scotland was not part of the United Kingdom, a brave and a wise king called Robert Bruce ruled the country. The King of England wanted to make Scotland a part of England. So he led his army into Scotland to drive King Bruce out of the country. King Bruce refused to give up. He gathered his army and decided to fight the enemy. King Bruce's army was small compared to the English army, but he still led his small army into battle. 6 times he fought and 6 times he lost. After losing the last battle, the Scottish army lost all hope. The soldiers ran away, and King Bruce was forced to go and hide himself in a forest with no army and little courage to fight anymore. He did not know what to do next. One day, while he was wandering in the forest, it suddenly started raining heavily. King Bruce took shelter in an empty cave. He was tired and lay down on the cold ground thinking about giving up. Suddenly his eyes fell on a little spider on the roof of the cave. She was trying to throw her thread from one edge of the cave to another, but she kept failing. The king watched the spider with great interest. Every time the thread fell, she would go back and try again. 6 times she tried and 6 times she failed. Looking at her, he said, "You too know what it is to fail 6 times in a row." To his amazement, the spider did not give up. There she was ready for the seventh attempt. Watching her courage and determination, King Bruce forgot his own troubles and worries. He was filled with new hope and strength. He watched the spider swing into action again. She carried the thread safely to the other edge and fastened it there. "Yes," shouted King Bruce, "I will also try a seventh time." Soon he stepped out of the cave and gathered his men and told them of his plans. It took him some time to persuade the soldiers to fight another battle. Shortly, he had an army of brave men around him. A seventh battle was fought, and this time the King of England had to go back. King Bruce recaptured his country, and Scotland became an independent country. King Bruce is remembered as one of the greatest kings in Scottish history. Now I am going to ask you questions. Number 1. What was the name of the England of Scotland and how he was? The name of the England of Scotland was Robert Bruce, and he was a brave and a wise king. Next question. Why did the King of England attack Scotland? The King of England wanted to make Scotland a part of England. Next question. Whose army was small? King Bruce's army was small. Next question. How many times did King Bruce fight? King Bruce fought for 6 times. Next question. Why did King Bruce hide and where? King Bruce hid because his soldiers ran away and he hid himself in a forest. Where did King Bruce wander? He wandered in the forest. What did he see on the roof of the cave? He saw a little spider. She was trying to put thread from one edge to the another edge, but she was failing again and again. Next question. What did the king learn from the spider? The king learned from the spider that every time the thread was falling, but she was trying again and again. She tried 6 times and 6 times she failed. But seventh time she tried and was successful. He was watching her courage and determination. Next question. What did King Bruce forget? King He forgot his troubles and worries. Next question. Was the spider able to put the thread to the other edge? Yes, the spider was able to put the thread to the other edge. Next question. After seeing the spider, what did the king do? He gathered the men and made his plan. After some days, he had an army of brave men. A seventh battle he won and he got his kingdom back. Next question. Why was King Bruce remembered? King Bruce was remembered as one of the greatest kings in Scottish history. Thank you.